Talktainment Radio, worldwide sound. Talktainmentradio.com. We give you a reason to come. The world's greatest radio. We give you a reason to stay. Radio, the way it should be heard. You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
Praise the Lord, everybody. I'm Karen Mitchell, and it's Open Mic. Joining me is SHEIRRA HAINES, also ANISE ELLIOTT, and we're going to discuss anything we feel like tonight. To begin our discussion, we would like to start off by talking about the different things that we have going on in our community. So we're going to start with ANISE. ANISE, tell us a little bit about what you have going on right now in your community.
So I currently have our She Ministry, She Movement, August 10th coming up. I have a She Matters movement roundtable open to the community to discuss just different things that matter to the women in the community.
Awesome. SHEIRRA?
Hi, my name is SHEIRRA HAINES, and I teach a men and brokenness piece. I teach a men and brokenness piece, and I have a new book that I just released called From Pain to Power. So I have a book tour coming up here in Columbus on May 25th at Total Man Ministries. Also, we have mentoring collaboration happening on June 29th. That's where about 8 women that have mentoring programs will come together and collaborate with the women in the community. So save the date because it's June 29th in Groveport at the library from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. We hope to see you there.
Ladies, what do you think is one of the most important things that we can do to build our communities? We have so many different things that are going on now in the communities, such as crime rate, different things as far as the areas being tore down in some places they're being built up. But what can we do to come together to make our communities better?
I'll just step in here. I think one of the things that we would definitely need to do is come together as a community, come together as different ministries. Stop just thinking that the projects just belong to you, but hold your neighbor up. Go out to other communities. You don't necessarily have to be in that particular area to still reach out to what's going on in their neck of the woods. Another thing is bringing awareness to the communities. A lot of different places here in Columbus, just they're not even aware of what's really going on in the streets.
Mm-hmm. SHEIRRA?
Okay. I think it's important for us to come together, like she said, to just reach back. And that's one of the reasons that we are hosting the event on June 29th, is so that we can reach out to different communities and be able to help other women that may not be equipped or not have the resources, gain the resources and the tools that they need so that they can take it back to their community and take it back to their family and their children. And I just believe that if we all partake in building one another up, then that will help us stand the community on its feet as a whole, just by us reaching back out to each other, helping each other, along the way, giving that sister or brother the push that they may need to go to the next level.
You are listening to us on TalkTainmentRadio.com, watching live on YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in Talktainment and watch us live. Call in 1-877-932-9766. Again, 1-877-932-9766. I agree with you, ladies. I just think that our communities need to start looking at doing some things as a whole and not so much as, okay, well, I'm doing this over here. And I see them doing that over there, and yeah, they're doing this down there. I think we should come together and start doing some things in unification. Because if we do it in unity, then there's strength in that. And I think that that'll speak loudly to people that, you know what I mean, think that you're unreachable. I think it'll show that you are reachable. What do you think about that?
I definitely agree. I drive by down the street, and for the life of me, I can't understand. There's several ministries on one block, and yet the community is dying. I just believe if everybody, like you said, come together, it would help financially. It would help just pull more people in, and it gives the community a variety of what you're offering. I might not have the same outreach, but my sister do. So if we could come together, the people I've reached may be for her, and vice versa.
Yeah. Absolutely, because I believe that if one of us hurt, then we all hurt. Because when I encounter somebody that might be going through something, I'm always led to, provide a resource. Like she said, even if I can't give them what they're looking for, I know somebody who can. And to have different ministries on the street, some of them don't even know each other's name.
Yeah.
Haven't even went over and introduced themselves. And I just believe that if we all come together and start loving on one another and helping each other, that we can stay in the community where it need to be at. Because a lot of people, they can't do better because they lack the information or they don't know how to. I don't think people just want to live in certain situations or be in certain situations or not have on purpose. I believe that they just don't have the resources. So that's why we are here to provide the resources that people may need. And if we don't have the resources, sending them somewhere else that may have the resources. But we have an event coming up this Saturday at Total Man Ministries. That's 2323 Lake Club Drive. It's at 11 a.m. It starts at 11 a.m. And that's Community Day. And that's not just for that area. That's for anybody who want to come out to the community and, just have fun. We'll have a yard sale. We're going to have games. We're going to have food there. And so we just want everybody to come out and just, be a community outside of your community. And then you can take it back to your community and maybe you can do the same thing in your neighborhood. But this is what it's all about, just joining together and coming together as a whole to accomplish the mission, which is helping each other rise.
Yes, that's awesome. We also want to send our love out to John Singleton's family. We found out about him passing away, and we definitely send our condolences and our love to his family at this particular time. Someone who gave us great entertainment, Boys in the Hood, and all type of different genre of black movies. So we definitely salute his legacy, and we do send our condolences to his family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that I think is very imperative is that we need to try to work in building a relationship with our police officers in these communities. Because I think sometimes when you have a communication or a relationship with the police officers, it can kind of buffet some of the hostility. What do you ladies think about that?
I agree. I totally agree. Because so often, especially in our communities, they have a certain way that they look at our community. They feel like, some of them think, the aggression, or they just automatically intimidated by what they hear that go on in our community. So I think by us building a relationship with them and them knowing that it's not really what it may look like, that it is some good people in the community, or, misguided children at that, that just don't know which way to go. So if we build that relationship with them, maybe they won't be so quick to feel like, intimidated when they come around there, or like it's hostile, and maybe they can approach the situation in a different way.
And I just like to add, I agree with that. I think that us reaching out to the officers and building some type of a rapport with them will also allow them to see that there's still people in the community that care. You know, not everyone wants to see it run down. Not everyone is trying to tear it down. There are some people that want to lift up our community, lift up our people, and have a awesome, wonderful place to call home. So I agree with that. We definitely need to break the barriers with the police department, and on their side as well, the community feeling like they're not there to protect and serve. So I think that would be an opportunity for them to show they care as well.
And I just think it makes a big difference when you put a name to a face. Sometimes I think that our children get harassed because there's no name to the face.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, a statistic or a profile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that sometimes if we become more personable and we have a name that goes with the face, I think that it'll tear down some of the hostility or the resistance or you know, the divide that's there, and start having some real conversations with the police officers and the community. You know what I mean? So I think that that'll be something that we should definitely work on. And I'm speaking this to everyone, not just one particular community, but any community that you in. You should start building a relationship with your officers. And if you see that it is an officer in your community that does not want to come and blend in on that level, then that's when you need to take your complaint to a higher level. But we need to come together and get a voice in that as well. We need to learn how to stand together as other cultures do. I think that we are the only culture that cannot continue to hold each other up for a long time. It's almost like we'll do it for a minute and then all of a sudden, you know, I'm mad about something or it didn't go my way, so now I don't want to play anymore. We can't do that. When you're trying to change a situation or you're trying to cause the level of success to come into your area, you have to have a united front.
Yeah.
There's nothing else you can do but have a united front if you really want change to come to your area.
Yeah.
But you ladies can chime in at any time.
I just wanted to say I do. I admire Total Man Ministries for that because we have an annual event, No More Violence, which was for the community, and every year you actually would have an officer to come out. I know throughout the years I've learned a little bit more just from having an officer come and speak in detail of what the law is, what information it is for us, or resources it is for us as a community. So that always blessed me. Another thing is I just thought back when you said a name to the face of watching old movies, and there's a police officer that knows who the child is running down the street. They know who their parents is or their grandparents, and like you said, that's a place we need to get back to. It would break down a lot of barriers, knowing, hey, this is my neighbor. This isn't just, you know, a hoodlum or a thug, and vice versa. If you out there in the streets doing something, you see Officer Timmy come by, you know he gonna talk to your grandparents, you know. So that's definitely a place we need to get back to as a community.
I'm glad you said that, because that brings us to the old fable of it takes a village.
Yep.
And we've got to get back to that with our children. We've got to get back to a place of where we're okay with someone that we know and we trust, or you know, that you haven't really had a whole lot of arguments or wrong discussions between being able to say something to your child as long as it's right. We can't be in such a box that nobody can say anything to these kids, and I think that that's a big gap.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where we have lost some of our children, because it used to be a time where if your mother or your father's friend saw you doing something wrong, they would check you.
That's
and
right.
then tell your parents, yeah, I had to get with your baby, because they was going in the wrong direction, and then your parents got with you.
That's right.
Your parents didn't call them up and cuss them out and say, don't say nothing to my child. No, we coming together, because the next time it could be their child.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And what you're saying to them could save their life. So we've got to get back to a place, especially in our churches. How dare we come and say we love God and can't nobody say nothing to your child in church?
That's right.
That don't even make sense to me. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not leaving the door open to predators or human traffickers or anything like that, because we know that that's out there as well. But if you have relationship with people, it's all right if they say something to your child that is going to get them on the right track. And we've got to get back to a village.
I just want to add, I do girls talk for East Bridge Academy, and one of the things is, going forward, I had the permission slips for the parents. If you trust me enough to mentor your child, then you have to trust me enough to discipline when it's necessary. Everything can't fly in here. I've got to have some right to say, you got to pay attention. You got to sit down. It's time to be quiet. So I agree with that, for a parent to come in and, go off. You said what to my child? It makes it hard, especially if we're trying to build them up, to show them, respecting your elders, and just it's time to turn down.
Yeah, but I want to jump in because I feel like that's the right way. Just over the weekend when I was in Youngstown at my daughter's baby shower, the children was outside and they was hanging on a board to the point where like one of them could have got hurt. And I had walked outside and I'm like, yo, get down. And the guys that was standing over in the corner happened to say, I wanted to say something to them, but them wasn't my kids. And I just feel like, I was raised by my grandmother, so I got a lot of old school in me. I don't care whose kid it is. I'm gonna say something to somebody's child. I might not even know you. I just feel like right is right and wrong is wrong. So even if you don't have a relationship with somebody, if they're not telling your children nothing wrong, they should be able to do that, because that's the only way to get the kids to understand and to have respect, because a lot of the kids don't got respect. They don't even listen. They feel like, man, can't nobody tell me nothing. And it's like, but when I come around, I'm going to say something because I love you. I'm going to say something because you a child and you don't know no better. I'm going to say something because when you come in contact with my child, I want it to be a conversation and not a confrontation. I want you to know how to be out here in the world. So I feel like everybody should be like that. Just to keep our children in line, because you might not be around and you don't want your child to just be out there doing anything, or you don't want them to be in danger and somebody feel like they're not going to say something to them, because then they going to have to deal with the parents. If it's right, it's right.
That's right.
And that comes back to the community. That's why it's important that you come out. That's why we reach out to the community, to get to know one another, to know that share means no harm, and telling my daughter to get down off of a fence. But if I don't know you, then it's automatic, offense there. You don't have a right to talk to my child. But if we come out as a community, get to know one another, get to know each other's personalities, our rapport, build a rapport with each other, then we'll relax a little when it comes to our kids, knowing she in good hands. Shara got her.
And then that's another thing though, like getting to the root of what caused the offense in the first place. Because so many people come and they just ready to go instead of having a conversation saying, what happened. Nobody ever approached the situation and be like, well, what happened? You got parents that come and just, be just ready to go to war, and the other person could have not meant harm, could have just been looking out for the child. So, I mean, again, I just think we need to get back to that place. At least try to find out what happened before.
Hello, caller. How are you? Thank you for calling in.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys. I think this is a great topic, and I wanted to say, I believe in the village, and the village being able to raise the kids and help with the kids and build them up. And we did get lost along the way. However, with so many things that happen and people not being able to entrust their kids to certain people for a lot of various different reasons, how do we start all over? Like, how do we, woman to woman, man to man, build a rapport back up to ensure we can trust each other with our children again?
Well, everything starts with a conversation. We need to start having real conversations with each other. It takes you turning off your TV and just coming out into your neighborhood and getting to know your neighbors.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And having real conversations with them, and watching how they encamp their own children. Watching, how they mingle. We have a guy in our neighborhood that all of the kids go, and him and his wife as well, not just a guy, but him and his wife, and they rake his yard, or they pick up different things for him, and he pays them, and when they leave, he walks them home.
Yeah.
And let their parents know, thank you so much. They did an awesome job. And those kids, they have such a excitement about themselves, and they're just like, we made money, we gonna be rich, and it's almost like our whole neighborhood now have gotten on the bandwagon, of stopping the different kids and saying, y'all want to make some extra money just from that one act that he did with his yard.
Yeah. Relationship. Building a relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You are listening to us on TalkTainmentRadio.com and watching us live on YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in Talktainment 2 and watch us live. Call in 1-877-932-9766. Again, 1-877-932-9766. So, yes, I think that it is very, very important also to get into the community and get to know the faces and the names. Because that way, from when I was a kid, if somebody that you don't know is in the neighborhood, it's time to say, oh, no, Johnny, come back this way. We don't know him.
That's right.
Or we don't know her. And this is how you get, to be a watchman for people. We have elderlies in our communities that people are taking advantage of. Coming by and saying that they're the cable company, or coming in and saying that they work for the energy company, and they're taking advantage of these older people. But if some other people was looking out for them, we can kind of, say, well, what Mrs. Helen, what were they talking to you about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that goes again for relationship in your community.
That's right.
Another thing I want to touch on is, because when you were saying that, I just was looking at how things was when I was growing up. And again, I'm going to go back to June 29th because of the simple fact that we got a lot of different mentoring groups that's helping people. We got one that will help you find stability, far as income, working on your credit and just, being stable.
Yes.
See, nowadays, so many people move in and off the street that you don't know who is who.
Yeah.
Because there's no stability in the neighborhoods. There's no stability in the family. So it'd be kind of hard to build a relationship because one day somebody in this house and then a couple months later, then they're gone. So when we talk about the community, we want to talk about it as a whole, because people still need not only to know how to have healthy relationships and how to build relationships, but how to be stable. You know, how to be able to build within their family as well as outside of the community. So I just think that, you know, that play a big part in it too, though.
Yes, it does.
That's definitely true. As a property manager, I move people in and out month to month. So I definitely agree with that. Stability is so important. It's kind of hard, like you said, to get to know your neighbor when one day, you know, it's Jill and the next day it's Peter. So stability and the resources on how to get there is so important. I definitely try to, with anybody that I come in contact with, give them the different information that I have. If it's a job, if it's school for their children, extra income, whatever it may be, it's important. Like you said, that was a good point, Sheirra. To know how to be stable in your home, in your personal life, in the community, in your ministry, whatever it is that you are doing, you have to have stability.
You do. And stability is knowing how to even feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a healthy relationship with you, you're not going to be able to have a healthy relationship with anyone else.
Yeah.
And we've got to get back to building one another. But you got to have that built up respect for your own self.
That's right.
I have started a new movement called the now season.
Yes.
And with the now season is, I'm telling people, stop waiting for this long distance vision that you have, that you can't do this until I reach that goal, or I can't do this. No, you can start doing things right now in your now season.
That's right.
Until that time comes. And then when that time comes, it's so big and it's so huge and it's so right there and right that you can really, the sky will be the limits to where you can go. But you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So you talked about the financial piece. Yes, get your credit together. You can start there with just knocking down some of the little bills.
Yeah.
If you just start with some of the little things that you owe people. What do you mean by that? I mean by, if you owe a niece $20, give her 10 this week and give her 10 the next paycheck. She's a scratch off of your dad.
That's right. Pay a niece.
You know, and then get to the next phase of it. You know, if you owe somebody else, a creditor, $100, start paying $20 each paycheck on it, or either $5, but at least pay until it's paid off.
Yeah.
Scratch that off. Start working on your credit. You can start with that. Start working on being timely.
That's right.
And I'm not just talking to y'all, I'm talking to Karen too. Absolutely. Because sometimes Karen wakes up at a certain time. At the time I'm supposed to be somewhere.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've got to learn how to manage us.
That's right.
Because if you start with you, it's nothing to help or to be a good voice for someone else.
Yeah.
So you got to remember, it's your now season. What you doing your now is going to speak loud when you get to your then.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we got to do something now. Ladies?
Absolutely. And you got to stay committed and you got to do the work. You know, it's not just enough for us to throw the event this Saturday for Community Day. I mean, the people in the community got to be willing to put in the work as well.
That's it.
So it start with you.
That's
All
it.
change start with you. It start with you, and it start within your current situation. You got to want to do better. You got to want to move beyond your current situation. It starts with you. I can't stress that enough. I just believe that if you want to get to the next place in life, then you got to do the work. It's not enough for somebody else to want to see the community to be better. It's not enough for somebody else to want your kids to do better.
That's
it's not
right.
enough for somebody else to want you to be stable. That's not enough. It got to start with you. You got to do the work. You got to want to be better, you know?
That's it. I'm sitting over here in my now season, so that was beautiful. Just waking up, you know, it all starts with a thought process. Waking up knowing today is going to be different than my yesterday. And I love that now season, because for so long you hear people tell you, you know, this is going to happen, this is going to come. I see you doing this, but I see it now.
That's right.
This is my now season.
That's it. That's it.
I love that.
And you have to see it. And another thing that, you know, I tell y'all all the time, we are done with that day of uncompleting. We've got to complete. We've got to complete. So it's your now season. We'll be back. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some more juicy topics.